Imagine you were in the apocalypse as a family, but without parents. And you and your little brothers, well, you had to survive from something pretty dark. Well, that's this movie, and I'm going to tell you all about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing another spoiler-free review of a Fantasia Film Festival film called Parvulos. Now, this is a movie that was actually airing on location in Montreal, and I actually reached out to the director to see if I could get a screener copy. Isaac Esban reached back to me and said, sure thing, I would love for you to check it out, and thank you so much for allowing me to watch your film. So, what is Parvulos all about? Well, it's a Mexican film about these kids. There's three of them, three young children. They're living in the middle of nowhere to hide a very dark, disturbing secret that lurks in their basement. It's essentially after some sort of event, I won't say which one, but an event that happened in real life, actually, and sort of things spiraled out of control. It's done tastefully, so don't worry about that, but it definitely kind of lingers in a space that is familiar to us, I'll just say. It's a what-if scenario if the thing just kept mutating and mutating and mutating. And then certain groups of people, things happen to them. And that's part of what is going on in this movie, is that these kids are navigating through life to survive in the middle of the wilderness against this problem and other individuals that lurk in the woods and live too. Everyone's dangerous, as we've seen in these apocalypse movies or TV shows. And you can only imagine how crazy that is for a child to be able to navigate those troubled waters. Now, Isaac Esban is a director who's done quite a bit of films, and this is a different one, I think, than a lot of his other stuff, although he does like to film a lot of character-driven stories, and one of them was Parallel, which was like a sci-fi movie about traveling into dimensions if you were to make different decisions in your life. There was a movie called Parallel. There was a couple recently, but this one in particular dealt with these two guys in an attic, and it was a pretty good film, actually. The characters are really good, and I was interested in the film. I think this in particular was much better. But he also did another movie called Evil Eye, and he also did Barbaros, Mexico, the first one, which is an anthology from a lot of Mexican directors and writers. He did have help on this for some of the character work and the story, I guess, from Ricardo Fontanes, who helped him to flesh out these characters in the story, I assume, which I think helped because I think this story is pretty solid. First thing you're going to notice is that there is a different, unique kind of style about this movie. They have it shot in sort of a, I don't want to say monochrome, so the colors are kind of like almost a sepia tone with like other colors slightly bleeding through, but it has this very kind of dull world around it, and I think he wanted to do that specifically to make the world feel darker than it was, which I think was a nice touch, and it didn't do it too much. It was noticeable, but it didn't do it too much. The other thing you're going to notice is that the acting, of course, we're dealing with children here. That's always a mixed bag, but I think that they did a pretty damn good job here, and I think they are believably good kid actors for this particular situation. For what this indie film is doing, I think they do a fantastic job of delivering a lot of really like heartfelt, dark moments in this film. There's a lot that you're asking of these kids to be a part of in a very messed up world. Now, this is considered to be a horror movie, but it very much is deeply rooted in family values and like what it's like to have family and what you'll do for a family member. You know, what that actually means. What does family mean in a situation like this where everybody's willing to screw each other over? Because ultimately, in the end of the day, even though you may not get along 100%, it's still family. There are creature effects and things in this movie. It does take a little while to get there, but they kind of bleed it into the story very naturally. I would definitely say it's much more of a drama at the start of the film until the end, and then it becomes sort of like a dark comedy in a way, which I enjoyed actually. But you know, there's just some like child wonder in this movie, and I mean that in the most respectful sense, latching on to what it's like to be a child and through their lens rather than an adult writing about children. And I think that's very important. I think they did a really good job here. I really like the characters, the kids in this. The movie was also kind of gory and graphic in moments. It's not a gore film per se, but it definitely has its moments in there. Noah Hernandez makes an appearance in this movie, and he's actually a pretty well-known actor. He was in We Are the Flesh, which was a fantastic film. Much different than this one though. But again, if you're into like family drama, sort of horror, this is going to be right up your alley. And I think you're going to really like this one, especially for an indie. I'm somewhere at about a 7 out of 10 with this one. And I think when it comes to streaming services, you really should check it out because some people are going to really like it, but you're going to have to tone down your expectations on like production a little bit. This is an indie film, but I think it's done well. Like I said, it is not easy to direct kids. There's a very adult theme running through this whole movie with family and kids, and that is not an easy thing to direct. So I applaud them for what they did here. I enjoyed the film quite a bit. There is no release date that I know of as of yet, but you know, keep an eye out for it. I'm sure somewhere in the near future, you'll be able to check it out. Isaac, thank you so much for allowing me to see your movie. Let me know what you think about a story about kids in the apocalypse and some creatures and things. I don't want to spoil it. It's not necessarily zombies, guys. Just know that there's something in here and it's a little different and they navigate through it a very different way. I would love to hear what you think about this movie in the comment section down below. Hit the like and subscribe button because it blows up the algorithm and helps me out a great deal. And leave a comment. But thanks for coming by, guys. And as always, long live the void.